Known for his unparalleled strategic thinking and unmatched precision on the chessboard, Magnus Carlsen has taken the chess world by storm with his incredible talent and unwavering determination. Magnus often plays friendly online chess games, which is a testament to his love for the game of chess and his desire to share it with others. Today, he is going to play chess at a university bar after drinking 5 pints of beer. Let's see what happens when the world #1 decides to play against a 2061 elo-rated player, Damien Rapier, at a university bar with hundreds of people cheering the game. With the crowd vividly cheering for Damien, he opened the game with e4, to which Magnus responded with c5, the Sicilian variation. With the crowd fully backing Damien, he goes for a3, while Magnus goes to g6 for a second move. Both players develop their pieces in the next 3 moves. Damien moved his bishop to a2, while Magnus developed his kingside knight, preparing for short castle. Oh wait, the crowd favorite plays pawn to h4 and gets a loud cheer from the world champion as well as the crowd, as Damien looks to attack Magnus early in the game, and Magnus responds to that with h6. Damien continues the attack with h5 while Magnus blocks it with g5, but Damien still tried to open with f4. The pawns get traded on f4 square, and Damien's bishop comes to f4. After a few normal opening moves, both players castle, with Damien on the king's side and Magnus on the queen's side. In the meantime, White's a1 rook came to the center of the board, and Damien too completed his piece development. With limited time, being fully drunk, and the crowd supporting him, Damien knows he has a good chance to upset the world champion. Damien tries to reroute his knight to e3 to make it more active, and Magnus responds with e5, attacking the bishop and pushing the pawn to f5. The next move after, Damien takes his bishop back. After pawning to f5, Magnus takes another sip of beer and seems very confident to finish off his 2061 elo-rated opponent quickly. Damien moves his bishop and pins Magnus' knight on e7. Magnus moves his rook away, freeing his knight. Damien plans to reroute his knight to center d5 via e3, and Magnus attacks the knight. Damien moves his knight to d5, and after a couple of trades of d5, the white bishop comes to the center square d5. Magnus offers a bishop trade on f6, and now Damien tries to open Magnus' king's side by pushing his pawn to b4. After a couple of normal moves, and after the bishop trades, Damien opens the center with a pawn on d4. The pawn trades happen on d4, and Magnus draws the first blood by picking up a pawn on h5. Damien attacks Magnus' queen, while Magnus gives a check on b6. After a move, Magnus blunders by playing his rook to d8. Damien's queen comes to c3, and now the rook and queen attack the e5 pawn. Magnus grabs the f3 knight, while Damien gives the intermediate check on e5, picking up the pawn. Magnus attacks the white queen, and Damien goes for the queen trade on c7. After the trades on c7, Magnus' knight comes to the beautiful e5 square and attacks the rook. Damien takes his rook to h3. Magnus pushes his pawn to f3, making another mistake. Damien plays correctly, moving his bishop to d5 and attacking the b7 pawn. With Magnus opting for king to b8, Damien grabs the important pawn on b7 and gives a check to the world champion. And Damien goes for another pawn on h6 by moving his rook to h7. Suddenly, the underdog seems to be doing well against the world champion. But little did crowd favorite Damien know about the world champion's in-game skills. Magnus starts to showcase his in-game class by pinning the g2 pawn and moving his rook to g6. After Damien defends the g2 pawn by pushing it to g3, Magnus brings his rook to f8. Damien goes rook to a7, trying for rook to a8 and taking Magnus' rook in the last row. After a couple of bad white moves, Damien could have made a draw against Magnus by giving back-to-back checks with his rook on a8 and a7. Magnus gets the all-important f2 check, leading to the rook grabbing the g3 pawn and planning to move the rook to g1. Damien defends it with his rook move. Magnus' knight goes to g4, planning for the deadly e3 check. Damien moves his king away, and Magnus' rook goes and gives a check, leading to the white knight moving away. Magnus takes a brand new queen after pushing his pawn to f1, leading to Damien conceding his defeat against the world champion. As usual, the world champion showed his swag during yet another friendly chess encounter.